The date is March 17th, 1720, and the news across the Atlantic is violent. Our single source of truth for tonight's broadcast is the front page of the American Weekly Mercury, printed right here in Philadelphia. The reality of the 1720 Atlantic world is an interconnected web of highly lucrative trade, defined at its edges by constant physical peril and fracturing imperial authority. We are going to break down this single broadsheet column by column, starting with the collapse of international treaties abroad, before moving down to the brutal reality of local crime. This broadsheet serves a highly specific practical function. It is a survival guide for colonists trying to navigate a world where global empires routinely fail to protect them. We begin at the international desk. A dispatch originating from London details a severe armed conflict breaking out between the Dutch and the Emperor's subjects. This historical map of Guinea establishes the exact location of the inciting incident. Far from European courts, ships from rival nations were converging on the highly contested Gold Coast. The confrontation occurred when a Dutch vessel, the Amsterdam, intercepted an Ostend ship named the Marquis de Prie. The Dutch demanded to examine their imperial commission. The inspection was a pretext. The Dutch captain immediately took the officers prisoner, treated the crew as pirates, and confiscated the ship alongside its entire cargo. The diplomatic fallout at The Hague was immediate. The Marquis presented a long memorial demanding the immediate liberty of his lieutenant and crew, insisting that reparation be made for all expense and damages. The underlying economic tension driving this hostility is the Dutch East India Company. They are desperately trying to maintain an absolute trade monopoly by military force, treating any free trade by competing European powers as a hostile intrusion. The incident exposes the reality of 1720s geopolitics. Treaties signed in Europe carry absolutely no weight on the imperial frontiers. Lucrative trade routes operate as active zones of hostility. Shifting to the maritime shipping crisis, we look at the specific local plight of Captain Knott, who recently arrived in the Capes of Virginia. Knott's vessel was intercepted by a massive pirate operation originating from Brazil and Guinea. Stripping his ship of provisions, the pirates forced 8 heavily armed men directly onto his deck. Landing in Virginia, the pirates marched to a tavern with their golden luggage, displaying their extravagant way of living. Authorities responded with lethal force. The unrepentant pirates were tried and hanged in chains. Approaching the gallows, one drank wine and drank damnation to the governor. The public brutality of these executions and the sheer defiance of the condemned illustrate a desperate, existential war for physical control of the Atlantic economy. Looking at this map of the Atlantic, we can rapidly assess the scale of maritime losses. From the coast of Guinea, over to Brazil, up to Barbados, and directly into the Virginia Capes, the attacks are constant. The dispatches list the destroyed vessels by name: the Pink Eagle, the Brigantine Charlotte, the Coward Galley. Ships were boarded, set completely on fire, and the remaining sailors were absorbed into the pirate fleets, and the legitimate merchant class is deeply complicit. The master of the Sea Nymph was arrested specifically for secretly trading silver, gold, and goods directly to the pirates who were holding him. Piracy in 1720 operates as a highly organized shadow economy. These decentralized fleets successfully rivaled the British Empire's own maritime dominance. Turning to the political desk, we find radical instability on the colonial mainland. A dispatch from Rhode Island details a full-blown armed uprising in South Carolina, what the text explicitly calls an extraordinary revolution. The citizens completely overthrew the existing Lords Proprietors government. They dismantled the council and installed a new leader, claiming authority directly in the name of King George. The text cites the root causes: the proprietors' failure to address grievances and their repeal of security laws. The immediate catalyst was a looming Spanish invasion. Colonists received intelligence of a Havana designed to attack, forcing them to seize government control to repair fortifications. This localized revolution illustrates the central political tension of the era. When distant imperial rulers failed to provide basic physical security, colonists will radically dismantle the state machinery to ensure their own survival. Finally, we bring the news down to the local, municipal level. This map of Philadelphia and its adjacent counties grounds us in the immediate surroundings of the newspaper's readership. The danger is literally in their backyard. On the road between Philadelphia and Derby, a man was ambushed by 4 highwaymen. As the text reads, they clapped a pistol to his breast and threatened to shoot him immediately. The local courts applied swift frontier justice. The Westchester Supreme Court tried multiple men for felonies and counterfeiting, returning immediate sentences of death. Tucked directly alongside these reports of hangings and robberies are brief commercial and environmental updates, accounts of severe snowstorms, and a highly successful local whaling expedition bringing in a valuable catch. The macro-level geopolitical chaos is mirrored precisely at the local scale. The threat of sudden violence permeates every layer of this society, from international shipping lanes down to the local dirt roads. The truest reflection of a society's values is often found in its classifieds. Panning past the runaway servant notices and the list of current market prices, we hit a stark advertisement for a Negro boy to be sold. Early American media seamlessly presents the brutal commodification of human life directly alongside daily weather reports, commodity pricing, and political news. It is treated as an objective, unexceptional fact of colonial commerce. The American Weekly Mercury acts as undeniable proof of the era's true conditions. The foundational years of the Atlantic world are defined by constant threat, absolute lawlessness, and a desperate colonial fight for survival.
The Daily Dispatch, history in print. No modern gloss, no modern hint. Just black and white, and read today. The Daily Dispatch is on